Welcome again to the Medical Terminology Podcast. This episode is Chapter 9, Part 3, More Pathologies. We're going to continue our discussion of pathologies of the urinary system by talking about those related to abnormal urethral openings. These are conditions where the opening of the urethra may be above or below or to the side of its normal location. And these terms can be confusing because they deal with directional terms. Particularly when we're looking at the male, there can be some confusion about what the top or backside of the penis is and what the front or the lower side of the penis is. And this has to do with how it can change its orientation. When we're looking at directional terms related to the penis, we need to visualize it in a horizontal or erect state, as in the diagram you see here. The top or the back side of the penis is referred to as the dorsal side, D-O-R-S-A-L. You should remember that from Chapter 2, we talked about dorsal meaning the back. Well, the back side of the penis is also the top side when it's erect. Conversely, if we're talking about the ventral side, V-E-N-T-R-A-L, and again, from Chapter 2, do you remember what ventral means? Well, ventral would mean the front side, again, visualizing the penis in a horizontal state. This would be also the bottom side. Ventral would be the bottom, just as dorsal would be the top or the back. And I know this can be confusing because if you visualize it in a relaxed state or a vertical state, what is the front and what is the back would be the opposite. Okay, so you don't want to visualize it in the flaccid or vertical state. You want to visualize it horizontally. And then the top and the back are synonymous. That's the dorsal side. And then the bottom or the front would be synonymous. They are the ventral side. Okay, having clarified that now, we can review these terms. The first term is epispadias. E-P-I-S-P-A-D-I-A-S. Epispadias refers to an abnormal urethral opening that is above its normal position. In the case of a male, it would be on the upper surface or the dorsal side of the penis. If we're talking about a female condition, we're talking about a urethral opening that would be, again, above its normal location, and it would be in the region of the clitoris. The second term has the opposite meaning. It's hypospadias. H-Y-P-O-S-P-A-D-I-A-S. Hypo means decreased or deficient, but it can also mean lower. And in this case, in the male, hypospadias would mean that the urethral opening is lower than it should be, or we would say it is towards the ventral side of the penis. Now, in the case of a female, the urethral opening would actually be into the vagina. Again, that would be lower than its normal position. Then we have a third term relating to urethral openings, and that it's paraspadias. P-A-R-A-S-P-A-D-I-A-S. And paraspadias means on the side. This in the male, again, would be on the side of the penis. And we have one more term that is easily confused with the term hypospadias, and that is vesicovaginal fistula. A little tricky to say and spell. It's V-E-S-I-C-O-V-A-G-I-N-A-L, then fistula, F-I-S-T-U-L-A. Let's parse this one down to make sense of it. First of all, the term vesicovaginal would parse into two parts: vesico, V-E-S-I-C/O, and then vaginal, V-A-G-I-N-A-L. Now, do you remember what the word part vesico means? Well, vesico refers to bladder. That's a rarely used word part for bladder. Normally we would use cysto, right? C-Y-S-T/O, much more common. But vesico does refer to bladder. And then the second part, vaginal, would mean what? Well, that would mean pertaining to the vagina. That AL ending means pertaining to. So vesicovaginal would be pertaining to the bladder and the vagina. Now the second word, fistula, F-I-S-T-U-L-A. We have seen that before. Do you remember what a fistula is? Well, a fistula is an abnormal connection between two organs. We could also say it's an abnormal passage. So a vesicovaginal fistula would be an abnormal passage between the bladder and the vagina. Now, we need to be careful not to confuse that term with hypospadias. Hypospadias, again, means the urethra opens into the vagina. The urethra is a normal passage. It's a normal tube in the body. Problem is, the ending just is in the wrong place. Instead of ending in its normal place, it's too low and it's ending in the vagina. Now, that's different than the vesicovaginal fistula, where there is a totally abnormal connection. It's not the urethra, it's something else. It's an abnormal connection between the bladder and the vagina. So be careful of that one. That one is commonly missed on tests, or the two get switched around, okay? Hypospadias refers to the urethral opening being in the wrong place in the vagina, whereas vesicovaginal fistula is an abnormal connection. Now we're going to go ahead and look at some of the terms related to urination and abnormal urination. And this is a case where they throw a lot of these at us, and there are some subtle differences between them that can be confused. So that's why I'm going to go over them. I'm also going to reorder them a little bit, try to group them, try to chunk and block them in a way that might make it a bit easier to learn. So here we go. The first one should be pretty easy. It's dysuria, D-Y-S-U-R-I-A. And what would dysuria mean based on its word parts? Well, that would mean difficult or painful urination. DYS means difficult. Urea means pertaining to urine or urination. So dysuria means painful urination. The next term we have, I believe, already talked about, and that's anuria. What does anuria mean? Well, that would mean a lack of urine formation. Again, that is a symptom of problems with the kidneys that we talked about last time. Again, an means without, lack of, it isn't there at all. It's not there. And urea, again, refers to urination. Then we have a term that we don't want to confuse with anuria, and that's oliguria, O-L-I-G-U-R-I-A. And this term is composed of the word parts oligo, O-L-I-G/O, and again, urea, U-R-I-A. And based on its word parts, what does oliguria mean? Well, that's going to mean scanty urination. Oligo means scanty. Urine is being formed, there is urination, but not as much as one would expect. Scanty urination. Anuria, again, no urine formation. The next three terms we have relate to the amount of output of urine. We're not talking about the formation of urine, but the output. And the first one is diuresis. D-I-U-R-E-S-I-S. Diuresis would be the condition of an increase in urine output. You may have heard of the term diuretic. It's a medication you take that would cause you to increase your amount of urination. The next term is polyuria. P-O-L-Y-U-R-I-A. Polyuria means excessive urine output. Slightly different meaning than diuresis. Diuresis just means there's an increase relative to where you were. We're not saying if it's too much or too little or whatever. We're just saying there has been an increase relative to where you were. But polyuria means there is an excessive urine output. It's something to be concerned about. And then the third one we have is nocturia. N-O-C-T-U-R-I-A. And nocto means referring to night, like nocturnal. Nocto. Nocturia means excessive urine output, but at night. Okay, so to review, we have nocturia, excessive urine output at night, polyuria, excessive urine output in general, and diuresis, an increase in output, but just relative to where we were. It's not saying it's bad or not, it's just saying there's been an increase. And then we have another pair of terms built on the term enuresis. E-N-U-R-E-S-I-S. Enuresis is an involuntary discharge of urine. Enuresis. E-N-U-R-E-S-I-S. And a related term is nocturnal enuresis. N-O-C-T-U-R-N-A-L. Enuresis again. E-N-U-R-E-S-I-S. Well, enuresis again means what? That would be an involuntary discharge of urine. If it's at nocturnal, that means it's at night. More specifically, we're talking about an involuntary discharge during sleep. We sleep at night. And this is the medical term for bedwetting. Nocturnal enuresis, medical term for bedwetting or involuntary discharge of urine during sleep. Then we have two more terms that people tend to miss on tests. And these are, first of all, urinary hesitancy. Again, urinary is U-R-I-N-A-R-Y. Hesitancy is H-E-S-I-T-A-N-C-Y. And hesitancy refers to difficulty starting the urine stream. It's hesitant. It means it's slow to get going. So hesitancy, difficulty starting the urine stream. Then we have a different term, and that is urinary retention. U-R-I-N-A-R-Y R-E-T-E-N-T-I-O-N. Retention, or urinary retention, is the inability to empty the bladder. That's different than hesitancy. Hesitancy means it's difficult to get started. Retention means basically it's difficult to finish. That is to say, it's hard to get the bladder completely empty. Okay? You look at those terms, hesitancy and retention, and you kind of think, well, aren't they kind of similar? Well, not really. Hesitancy is difficulty getting started. Retention means you're not emptying. You're retaining something. It's staying in there. So again, you want to be careful of those two terms. Okay, well, let's go ahead then and do some practice. What is the term for the condition of having the urethral opening on the ventral side of the penis or into the vagina? That's hypospadias. Hypospadias. Hypo again means lower. So in the case of the male, it would be the lower side or the ventral side of the penis, or it would be into the vagina. What is the term for painful urination? That's dysuria. Dysuria. What is the term for an excessive urine output at night? That is nocturia. Nocturia. What is the term for involuntary discharge of urine during sleep? That's nocturnal enuresis. Nocturnal, Nocturnal, enuresis, Enuresis. What is the term for the abnormal condition of a urethral opening on the side of the penis? That's paraspadias. Paraspadias. What is the term for a lack of urine formation? That's anuria. Anuria. And what is the term for difficulty starting a urine stream? That's urinary hesitancy. Urinary hesitancy. And what is the term for excessive urine output? That's polyuria. Polyuria. And what is the term for an increase in urine output? That's diuresis. Diuresis. What is the term an abnormal connection between the bladder and the vagina? Well, that's the vesicovaginal fistula. Vesicovaginal fistula. Fistula. What is the term for the inability to empty the bladder? That's urinary retention. Urinary, retention, retention. And what is the term for an abnormal opening of the urethra on the dorsal side of the penis or in the region of the clitoris? That's epispadias. epispadias. And finally, what is the term for scanty urination? That's oliguria, oliguria. So next time, we're going to be ready to go ahead and look at the procedures. This ends this episode of the Medical Terminology Podcast.